The Galactic Trade Summit on Arcturus Station brought together thousands of species from across known space. But Alex Chen stood alone at the observation deck, staring at the nebula beyond. 3 years had passed since the Krell attack on Earth's colonies, 3 years since he'd lost Ashley. The ache had dulled to a constant companion. But moments like these, surrounded by couples and families from 100 worlds, brought it rushing back. "You're blocking the view," a voice said behind him. Musical yet edged with something ancient. Alex turned and froze. The woman, or what appeared to be a woman, stood nearly 7 feet tall, her skin shimmering with iridescent scales that caught the station's ambient light. Golden eyes with vertical pupils regarded him with obvious irritation. But it wasn't her draconic features that stole his breath. It was the way she held herself, the slight tilt of her head, the impatient tap of her clawed fingers against her thigh. Ashley used to do that exact gesture when someone was in her way. "Sorry," Alex mumbled, stepping aside, but he couldn't stop staring. The dragon woman, clearly of the Drakon species humanity had recently encountered, moved to the window. She wore traditional diplomatic robes that somehow managed to look both elegant and practical. Her long tail swayed slightly as she gazed at the stars. "Is there something you need, human?" she asked without turning. "You remind me of someone." She glanced back, one scaled eyebrow raised. "I assure you, you've never met another Drakon. We only opened diplomatic relations with Terra 6 months ago. Not another Drakon, my wife." The words came out before Alex could stop them. The woman's expression shifted from irritation to something softer. "I see, the war. The Krell colony raids. She was a doctor on Kepler 442b. A long silence stretched between them. Finally, the Drakon turned fully toward him, her tail curling in what he would later learn was a gesture of sympathy. "I am Ambassador Kiraseth, and I apologize for my rudeness." Her voice had lost its sharp edge. "I lost my mate to the same war. He was a combat medic attached to the Human Drakon Joint Relief Force." Alex felt his throat tighten. "I'm sorry. I'm Alex Chen, independent trade consultant. Not nearly as impressive as an ambassador." "Grief doesn't measure titles, Mr. Chen." Kiraseth's golden eyes held understanding that transcended species. "What was her name?" "Ashley, Dr. Ashley Chen." He pulled out his data pad, showing her a hologram. Ashley's warm smile filled the space between them. Her brown eyes crinkled with laughter. Her hand frozen mid-gesture, that same impatient tap Kiraseth had just performed. The ambassador studied the image carefully. "She was beautiful, and she looks like she suffered no fools." A laugh escaped Alex, surprising him. "That's exactly right. She once dressed down a colonial governor for cutting medical funding. Made him cry. I would have liked her." Kiraseth handed back the pad. "My Kesthar would have liked her too. He believed medicine was the highest calling." They stood together in comfortable silence, watching a cargo freighter drift past the station. Alex noticed other diplomats and traders glancing their way. Humans and Drakon didn't often socialize informally. The alliance was still new, still fragile. "Ambassador Kiraseth," Alex began, his heart pounding. The idea was insane. But Ashley had always told him to take chances. "There's a memorial gala tomorrow night for the war dead. I was going to skip it, but..." He took a breath. "Can you be my date for one day?" Kiraseth's eyes widened, her scales rippling with what might have been surprise. "You want a Drakon as your companion to a human memorial event?" "I want someone who understands. Someone who..." He gestured helplessly. "You move like she did. That impatient finger tap thing. And you have her no-nonsense attitude. I know it's crazy and you're an ambassador with a million important things to do, but..." "Yes." Alex blinked. "Yes?" "Yes, Alex Chen. I will be your date for one day." Kiraseth's expression softened into something that might have been a smile, revealing careful rows of sharp teeth. "But I have a condition. Anything. After the gala, you accompany me to the Drakon Memorial Shrine on the lower decks. Kesthar deserves to be remembered too, and I..." Her voice caught slightly. "I have been unable to visit alone." "Deal." Alex extended his hand, Earth-style. Kiraseth studied it for a moment, then carefully grasped it with her scaled, clawed hand. Her grip was warm, firm, and surprisingly gentle. The next evening, Alex stood outside the grand ballroom adjusting his dress uniform for the 10th time. When Kiraseth arrived, she took his breath away. She wore a flowing gown that incorporated both human and Drakon design elements, deep blue fabric that complemented her scales, cut to accommodate her wings and tail while maintaining an elegant silhouette. "You're staring again," she said, but there was amusement in her voice. "You look amazing." Ashley would have approved. Kesthar would have said, "You humans dress like you're going to a funeral, even at celebrations." They shared a laugh, and Alex offered his arm. Kiraseth hesitated only a moment before taking it, her clawed hand resting lightly on his sleeve. The ballroom fell silent as they entered. A human and a Drakon attending together. Alex felt dozens of eyes on them, heard the whispers. But Kiraseth held her head high and he drew strength from her presence. Throughout the evening, they navigated the social complexities together. Alex introduced Kiraseth to other survivors, sharing stories of Ashley's work. Kiraseth spoke of Kesthar's bravery, how he'd stayed behind to treat wounded humans even as Krell forces closed in. Their tales of loss wove together, and Alex noticed something remarkable happening. Other mixed species pairs began to form. A human widow spoke with a Drakon widower. Orphaned children from both species played together near the refreshment tables. The rigid separation that had marked the young alliance began to soften. "Look what you've started," Kiraseth murmured as they danced, awkwardly, given their size difference and her tail, but genuinely. "We started it," Alex corrected, "together." When the memorial ceremony began, they stood side by side as names were read. Dr. Ashley Chen, combat medic Kesthar of House Morton. Thousands more. Alex felt tears streaming down his face. He felt Kiraseth's hand find his, her scaled fingers interlacing with his human ones. Later, in the quiet Drakon shrine on the lower decks, Alex stood before Kesthar's memorial crystal, while Kiraseth sang a mourning song in her native language. The melody was haunting, filled with sorrow and hope intertwined. When she finished, her voice rough, Alex spoke into the silence. "Thank you, Kesthar, for loving someone who would become my friend. Thank you for your sacrifice." Kiraseth's tail wrapped gently around his ankle, a Drakon gesture of familial affection. "Thank you, Ashley, for teaching your mate to see beyond scales and stars. For teaching him that grief shared is grief lessened." They stood together until dawn cycles began on the station, two souls from different worlds united by loss and the fragile hope of new friendship. As they parted at the docking bay, Kiraseth heading to diplomatic meetings, Alex to his trade consultations, she touched his shoulder gently. One day was not enough. "Alex Chen." He smiled genuinely for the first time in 3 years. "No, it wasn't. Coffee next week. I promise I won't block the view. I promise to be less irritable." Her golden eyes glowed with warmth. "And Alex? They would both be proud of us."
For living.
"For finding light in the darkness." "Yeah," Alex agreed, watching her walk away, scales glinting under the station lights. Yeah, they would. In that moment, humanity's greatest strength revealed itself not in weapons or technology, but in the simple, profound ability to find connection across the vast gulfs between species, to transform grief into bridges of understanding, and to honor the dead by choosing bravely to live.